guys, so we have a very special guest today. Dope Stick Racing. We got a brand new, nice, super duper nice GTR. My favorite car, something I dreamed about looking at. Luckily, I was blessed to get the opportunity to tint the car and him trust me to be able to do it. And today we're going to be talking about a lot of dope conversations, cool conversations, a lot of good stories, and I'm excited. That's it.
What's up, guys? I'm Ernie. I'm the president of Dope Stick Racing, also known as Dope Stick itself. My 1999 Nissan R34 Skyline is a beautiful thing. Was not a beautiful way of receiving the car, but happy to have it. You guys will figure that out more as the conversations start happening throughout this podcast and stream. But right now, let's just let Joe here do his work.
Awesome, man. Awesome. No, I'm happy now. Like I said, I always appreciate you, man. This is a beautiful car. Comeback stories, everything. It's inspirational, and I've talked to you one-on-one, and we're gonna get a little bit deeper in today, and hopefully share with everybody else, and let everybody else know, like, no matter what you go through in life, no matter what obstacle you have, no matter what is in your way, there's always, as Dope Stick said today, light at the end of the tunnel. And it's something I truly believe as well. No matter where you're at in life, no matter what age you are, no matter, even 10 years old, if a 10-year-old is watching this stream, you could do anything you want at any age you want. You could be 6-year-old and start your life over, live the rest of your 10 years the way you wanted to, all the years before. And today, I'm excited to get all these conversations and hear Dope Stick's story. It's from what I heard so far is an amazing story, and it inspires me. So I know it's going to inspire everybody around here too. We're not only doing the podcast. We're going to be doing. We're also going to be tinting the GTR as well. So this is the first Tint and Talk, and I am very happy to be doing it with this guy right here.
I'm very happy to be a part of it.
What you guys didn't know, behind the scenes, we were really, I'm going to be honest with you guys. We were here since 10 o'clock. No, 10:30, right?
12.
No, I'm sorry, since 12 o'clock.
Setting up.
Trying to figure this out for you guys, because we said that we weren't gonna start it without it. But here we are at 5 o'clock. It took a long time to get here, but hey, man, we're here and we're excited to get started. Today, Dope Stick wants to put a 50% on the front two windows, and we want to do a 20% on the back windshield and a 20% on the back windows. Fortunately, actually, my machine does not have the correct year of the GTR, so I'm going to be getting to show you guys step by step of the way I started tinting, and I'm actually excited to go back to that way. I haven't done it in a long time, but we're going to be hand cutting the whole car. So stay tuned, man, and can't wait to see what comes. Get it started. So you got and zooming in over here. do it right now. What is it? Wee woo? Wee woo? What's wee woo?
I don't know.
I was like, shoot, I'll scream wee woo right now. Right. Sounds good, man. So Dope Stick. What? Yeah. I know we got the GTR here, but I'm interested. What was your first car?
My first car, actually, believe it or not, was a white Saturn SC2, a '97 white Saturn SC2.
Okay. How long did you have that car for?
I had that car for 2 years in total. About a year of it was just sitting, collecting dust. Actually, funny thing is, I got catfish and sent to Connecticut when I had that car.
Catfish?
Yeah. And what ended up happening was I sold it to a friend.
Okay.
He lost the keys. I came back to San Jose to retrieve it. Didn't have the keys, so the car just kind of got lost.
Oh my goodness! Like, so it didn't get stolen or nothing. The car just kind of just disappeared?
Yeah, well, they towed it because it was on the street for too long, and obviously I didn't have the keys, so I couldn't move it. My dad, being a fucking crackhead, stole the muffler and catalytic converter, so there was no point in the car anymore, so I just let it go.
So you just let it go. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any good stories with that car? Do you have any good memories, any good little moments? I know that part was probably a little hard for you.
I did almost crash it. That was a fun experience.
Fun.
In a front wheel drive, I tried to power slide down a mountain and I hit the little mound on the side, and I was just like, never again.
Yeah, never again. Okay.
I was like, that's something for a rear wheel drive car.
So you've always been into cars then? Like since a kid you were ready to make it.
Yeah, since a kid, I mean, I've always loved racing and just anything that comes along with cars and mechanics in general. That's mainly the reason why I am inspiring to make my own mechanic business as of right now.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I have the ideas, I have the knowledge, I just need clients. You know, that's the number one thing that I need. I got it all.
In which you definitely will.
Oh yeah, most definitely. You know, I definitely will get those clients going. But yeah, no, I've always loved cars. You know, since I was a kid, played Need for Speed, you know, Burnout, Revenge, all that good stuff. You know, so it was fun.
Okay.
You know, and I've always loved this car. This car was always my favorite. You know, even playing Gran Turismo, I'd always use the Bayside Blue V-Spec. You know, same year.
Okay.
And as a kid, I always knew like I wanted this kind of car. You know, I love cars, man. Cars are awesome.
I noticed you mentioned a video that made you love the GTR, that made you fall in love with the GTR. What video was that?
That's actually Too Fast and Furious. It was one of my favorite movies of all time, and seeing Paul Walker. I've always liked Paul Walker since his early days, and as a kid, I remember this one particular movie that always made Paul Walker's like dramatic acting experience out to me, and that was April. Okay. You know, and ever since then, you know, Paul Walker's main reason why I kind of chose white. You know, most of his personal collection is white.
Okay.
You know, and yeah.
Well, so out of all GTRs, would you say this one is your favorite?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Now, I know you mentioned something to me about GTTs too.
Yeah, GTT. I mean, if I was never able to achieve a GTR, you know, obviously I'd go for the cheaper version, rear-wheel drive, single turbo. You know, it's not too costly as the GTR is, but.
You mentioned something really interesting to me too. Is I didn't know a GTT was rear-wheel drive.
Yeah. So it's just basically it doesn't have all the bells and whistles like a GTR does. You know, it doesn't have the extra turbo. It doesn't have the active all-wheel drive. So.
But it costs
half the price of a GTR.
And didn't you say there was a whole nother car that kind of that costs a lot of money?
Yeah, so there's a Stagia R32. So they only made about 500, 600 of those. And those cars are naturally aspirated, no turbos, so no turbos at all.
Okay.
Rear wheel drive, and it has an automatic 4-speed transmission. You know, and it costs the same price you could get one of these for.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. You got to pay attention to what you're really putting your money into.
Exactly.
And I mean, shoot, when it comes to GTRs, in my opinion, there ain't enough money you can give. There's a blessing to buy one, man, because me personally, growing up watching Paul Walker as well, seeing a GTR for the first time, and the same scene that you posted, that you talked about, it really changed my life. I think that's where I became so into cars. Thank God for Fast and Furious, man.
Yeah.
Not only was Fast and Furious important to me because of cars, but family. I noticed that family was very, very close, and I noticed that everybody within their family wasn't really blood related.
Yeah.
Also
the story behind Fast and Furious is not only fast cars and fun times. Family is who you make it. You know, blood is not always thicker than water. Blood could be poisonous. You know, that's why Fast and Furious always stuck out, man. You make your family. You grow into a family. You know, that's how it is. You know.
Yeah. As in the GTR, what's your plans with it, man? Are you looking to start up? I know you talked about social media.
So
but you gotta let them all know what your Instagram is. You gotta let them all know right now.
They see it on the side there.
On the side right here, let me point it out for you guys.
If
so
you're
you guys
really
can
watching, then you're gonna follow. If you're
Yeah,
really
you-
watching, then you gotta follow. You know.
see. GTR R34. That's that right there. That right there. Artist.
Yep.
Artist.
So this is actually going to be an Art the Clown / slasher
Okay.
build. So this whole side is going to be black. That side I'm going to keep white. I'm probably going to do a PPF on that side so I can at least splatter some red paint on it, make it look like blood and horror theme. You know, probably need to get some better rims. I do love the GTR rims. They're fucking expensive. They're like
You guys heard that? He's gonna be selling his GTR rims pretty soon.
15,000 if you want them.
Pretty cheap in my opinion too, because I know they're worth. Whew,
Yeah.
they're worth a lot.
No, I could
That's a good
probably
deal.
get double, but you know.
Yeah.
You gotta let other people have the option, you know.
Yeah. So, what was your what? Can you tell me your feeling when you first realized like you're actually getting the car and you pulled up to get the car? Was it a rush of emotion? Was it like emotionally like teary coming out of your eyes? Was it how did you feel?
So, purchasing the car, I was ecstatic and obviously anxious and stuff, you know, because it's a dream car. Not every day you get to purchase your dream car.
Mm-hmm.
The actual pickup was a different story. I actually drove down all the way to LA at 3 in the morning, got there at noon, signed the paperwork, same time, probably an hour later left to go back home. You know, so I did a whole LA day trip, 14 hours there and back, you know, and the excitement of being able to have the car in my possession was overshadowed by my tiredness, by my exhaustion. So I didn't really get a chance to have fun with it. Mm-hmm. But once we got home, once all the nerves settled in, it was so fun. It was. I sat in my car for a little bit. Yes, I did cry a little bit, you know, but.
That means you got a heart, man.
Yeah.
Always let it out, bro. Don't ever
just,
let somebody stop you from showing your emotions.
It was more of the fact that everything that I ever been through kind of led up to this, and I'm just happy that everything played out the way it did because it makes me hate the car more. You know.
Awesome, man. So I know you went through a process, and it was well, from what I've heard and talked to you about, it's an amazing comeback story in my head. And for you to just be back in a car, in a fast car, and also be in a car with no limits after everything you've been through, that's inspiring in my eyes, man. If you want, would you like to share a little bit about the story and how you not got the GTR, but how you came back, how you overcame?
Do you want the beginning or do you want what led to the car? Because there's a lot.
I want to, honestly, man, I want to hear everything.
So,
whatever you're comfortable with.
Grew up in a broken family, you know, was kicked out at the age of 16, you know, had my first job, lost my first job the same month because they scheduled me at 4 in the afternoon. I don't get off till 4 at night, you know, it was just too much. And then I went homeless. I was homeless for about 7 to 8 years after that. It was not a good time for me, doing drugs and stuff like that, you know. So then I met my wife. We've met in high school, but finally reconnected after all that. And she kind of helped me turn my life around, you know, because if it wasn't for her, I'd still be on the streets. She's the reason why I kind of wanted to get off the streets, because as a man, I'm not going to let my wife, my rock, be on the streets with me.
Well, the right person is going to motivate you, man.
Exactly.
Push you even harder than you even expected, you know?
Exactly. And so I got a job at this place called Oil Changers, was there for 3 years. And then one fateful day, you know, I was doing a lot of drugs there and stuff like that. So one fateful day, I was looking for my fix real quick, and I wasn't paying too much attention to the day as it progressed, you know? Morning was ass. Like I came in on a day I was supposed to be off. Morning was fucked up. Car was dead. Left my keys at home. Had to break into the shop. First 2 cars was a mortician in a coroner. You know, 2 black vans, and I wasn't really paying attention to all the signs and everything. And as the day progressed, one of our regulars came in, and she ended up being blacked out drunk, and just flew through the shop. And Fortunately, I was hurt between her and another car, and I got crushed at 25 miles an hour, broke both legs, shattered my pelvis, blew my leg completely open, like it wasn't, yeah.
And no, I know it definitely is hard, but I noticed something about you last time is how you can take that motive, like you could take such a, like that's a lot to go through.
Oh yeah.
But I noticed that you could turn something so tragic like that into a positive. Like it's something that not many people could do. Not many people could take a step back and go, hey, like I remember the kind of joke you made to me. You said, I literally had to lose a leg for this.
Exactly,
And that right there is very inspirational, man, because most people, they go through stuff and they get in this dark place and they can't make it out, man.
Yeah.
And they can't turn anything into positivity. And all the positive things that come to them turn really, really, really dark. So seeing you go through what you went through and be in a car, like I said, that's very.
Well, I mean, I've always grown up in survival mode, so it's always about. Meet the Robinsons said it best. Keep moving forward. There's a lot of inspirational quotes from our childhood that kind of just stuck with me throughout life. Moving forward was one of the best things. No matter what life throws at you, you just got to keep going. Because if you let that shit get you down, you're weak. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's like if you can't get yourself back up, what's the point? That's why you got to keep moving, keep doing what you got to do, because life's not going to wait for you. Life's not going to wait for you at all, and your dreams could sit in a bin somewhere and never be achieved. That kind of mindset. That's why you gotta just keep going, no matter what life does. Roll with it, just go with it. Like I never thought I would achieve this car the way I achieved it, but life has different plans. You can stay on one path for your whole life, and the brick of gold is on the other side. Like
Yeah,
you,
man.
you could.
So like, what was your, like, do you remember your recovery time and like how long it took you? Because I'm pretty sure at one point you thought you might not be able to drive, maybe even walk, And when I look at I'm not the one who went through it, but I can imagine having that thought, thinking that there's no way I able to. But look at you today. I didn't even know when you walked in my garage you had that injury. You opened up to me for that, and I appreciate you for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did.
So the rehabilitation process was about a year and a half in total. I was in the hospital afterwards for about a month and a half. And the legs pinned straight, everything. I couldn't move, couldn't lay down properly and stuff like that. And I just after 30 days, they started allowing me to move my knees a little bit more and stuff like that, and get range of motion going. But the first 4 months was in a wheelchair, and then I was able to walk right after. But between that, there was a lot of doubt in my mind. A lot of doubt. I was dealing with the depression, the PTSD from the accident, stuff like that. Not saying that I'm Superman, I could do everything, but
Everybody guys had a little bit of that inside of them, though.
exactly, and for me, it was just like I was down, I was out, but I started looking at how my life led up to this, and I can't let this be the reason why my downfall. I can't let it be my downfall, I just kept going. Can't really run too well. I used to play hockey and rollerblade. That's no longer an option. I used to be able to have a 17-mile-an-hour sprint. That's no longer an option. I could barely pick up a jog, but I could still clutch.
Still clutch, exactly, man.
Clutch.
That's what I mean by, man. I look up to you, man, because you really, every time I turn around, it's like you have all these big things that could destroy a lot of people. And constantly, I'm watching you turn around and say, but I got this, but I got that, but I got that. And that's really the way to be, and that's the way to show a lot of the young generation coming up, because it's our world, how things are these days, man. It's not the same. Not saying that things were easier back then for anybody else either, but.
And I was bullied all throughout school life. And the one thing that kept making me go forward with life was friendships. I turned my enemies into my biggest friends, and they hated that. Well, when they're your bullies, they hate being your friend
Oh yeah.
because their powers no longer work. You
No
know,
longer an option. No
Yeah.
longer an option. Yeah.
exactly. It's just like the rest of us just having fun now. You know,
What so when it came to like the bullies and stuff, like that was in high school, elementary school.
all school years.
What would those kind of like situations be like? Would it be like those or just who you are as a person?
So, I think it was mostly my personality, but there was a lot of violent times. You know, I got beat up a lot, like literal beat up, you know, just for existing and stuff like that, and it was kind of ass. My high school year, my high schools, I kind of try to turn that around. I moved to Gilroy, started going to school out there. I just created a new image for myself there because I didn't want my past from other schools pick up there and just continue the same process. So I got along with everybody. Everybody loved me. People knew my name, you know, and it was fun.
Did you move schools a lot when you were younger, or is
Yes.
it just you did?
Yeah. So families always moved around. I was in foster care for a while and stuff like that. So it was
Foster
never steady, you know. But I always had my grandfather as a backup, and he always took care of me, you know, whenever I needed it. And I'm grateful for that, man, because he's the one that gave me the ideals that I have now. You know, I've seen him slice his hand, like blade his hand, and he just bandaged it back up and kept working.
Man, no wonder, man.
Yeah,
No wonder
you
you're
know,
such a soldier, man.
You know, and that's just where my mentality is like, as a man, it's like, we gotta just keep going. We gotta pick ourselves up because no one's gonna pick us up.
And you know what's important? That's important. I tell people that all the time, like all the time. Like it's important to watch, you know, your parents, your grandparents, people that you love come back from anything, you know? And the fact that you just said that right now proves my point. Like you said, your grandpa sliced his hand open, put that thing back together, bro. That's crazy. And now wonder why you had your stumble and you got right back up and you kept going, man. Very inspirational. When you got when you got into the, and like I said, if anything bothers you,
Oh, no,
just
you're
let me
good.
know. If when you got into the accident, I know another person that said that was there for you was your wife. So like maybe how'd you guys meet? How'd you guys come to know each other?
So we went to high school together. My last year of high school, she was a freshman. I dropped out my junior year because my best friend had passed away. But I known her friends. I used to around with her friend for a while, and then I never really wanted to pursue her because I was kind of a player, and women
You're
came my
young.
way.
You're young,
You
yeah.
know, and once I got catfished and sent to Connecticut, we started talking again through an old friend. We started talking, and then when I was in Connecticut, she hit me up and was like, "Hey, what's up?" You know, I was just
What do you mean by like catfish? Like so the person that you got all the way there to was not the actual person?
So it was a female still.
Okay. So there's that. At least it's not that scary, but
Yeah.
it's still scary.
So she was She was texting me as if she was her younger sister, and sending me pictures of her younger sister.
Oh.
Yeah, and so
How old was her younger sister?
roughly my age, like
Around your
22.
age? Okay, so she was up there in her like 40s or 50s.
She was 30. So the girl that I was messing with was 36, but she was saying she was like 22. You know, and when I went out, so she's like, "Hey, why don't you come out to see me?" I was like, "I can't. You know, that's pretty far. I don't got money like that. Like I sleep in my car." And
Yeah.
she's like, "I'll buy you the ticket, everything. I'll treat you. This is on me." So I was like, "Okay, I can't pass up a free flight."
Yeah.
You know, I was like, "Go see the world." And so I went. And when I got to the airport, I seen what I thought was two dudes sitting in the front seat. Oh, it was a dude and she was the whole buffet. Put it that way. She was big.
Oh,
Big.
Oh, it was a big one. Okay, so you could see where the insecurities probably led her to where she was
Yeah.
at that day.
Yeah. And I was just like, you know, like I was like, already out here, might as well.
So you actually went to go hang out still?
Yeah, so I lived with her for like 2, 3 weeks, almost like a month and a half, probably at the most. I don't remember exact time frame. I was detoxing most of the way, you know.
Okay.
And I guess like we ended up hooking up there and stuff like that. And she had 2 kids, like 12 and 10, and that was like she lived with her baby daddy. Like her baby daddy lived upstairs.
Oh wait, and on top. Oh.
Yeah, and I slept in the basement the whole time with
Oh.
American Girl dolls. And so
American Girl dolls. You might have been in real life danger, my friend. You don't even. Oh, you probably survived. You probably got 9 lives, man, for sure.
and there was the only reason why I came back is because there was a misunderstanding. Because my brother lives in New York.
Pause real quick. Hold on. I'm sorry to cut you off. You remember when you told me iCarly earlier?
Yeah.
You know what that reminded me of? That one where iCarly, they get kidnapped by the crazy lady,
Nora,
right? And then Gibby comes in the door, and Gibby rushes, bro. Gibby was the best superhero of that year, bro.
Right.
Best superhero. Well, sorry, go ahead. Dude.
But yeah, no. So there was a misunderstanding between me and her. She was saying that if I wanted a bus ticket to go see my brother, but she just said if I wanted a bus ticket. So I was thinking go back home. So I was like, sure, I'll go home. You know, I was like going home because I don't like being out
You're
here.
feeling nervous,
Yeah.
but it's hard to feel like you have a safe place to even run to when, you know what I mean, you're in that vulnerable space.
Exactly, and so I took the Greyhound bus back from Connecticut all the way to San Jose.
Okay.
4.5 day bus ride, 16 hours of sleep the whole time, and the whole time she was messaging me, you know. So got back, finally was like, hey, want to hang out, and probably like a week of pestering her to be my girlfriend. She finally said yes, and then.
But she didn't make it easy on
No,
you. She
she
made
did
you
not.
work for it.
Yeah,
Good.
but I mean, all good things are worth the work, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, we've been together for 9 years now.
And you know, obviously, it's an amazing 9 years, right? That's really impressive. Not only did I notice something about you when I first met you, I know you had your GTR on the way, but what I noticed is you guys brought another car to me, and that other car to me, you got for her. And that man, in my opinion, you should feel very proud of yourself. Also, not listening to noise. You know, there's a lot of noise that comes around just being a good person. You know what I mean? So,
I sleep well to white noise, okay?
bro, that right there is every real true man's dream is to be able to not only take care of and provide for the people, but give back to the people that deserve it. You know,
Exactly.
you know that she was there, so. Before you even got your own GTR, you're pulling up in another souped up, nice, freaking which is a beautiful, beautiful Infinity. But like it's amazing how you can go through everything and still want to continue to give to people too, and the people that deserve it, the people that were there for you. There's too many times where I see people kind of like, how do you say it?
Become selfish with money?
Become selfish and seclude themselves, and then not give back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not about receiving and then realizing you have to give back. It's also not about giving to get something back, but to actually see people do it and do it to the people that deserve it. Which you mentioned you had a hard life and a hard family.
A lot of the reason why I do like giving back to people is because Christmas is not my favorite holiday. You know, growing up, I never got Christmas gifts, and if it was socks or deodorant. Literally the 2 things. And my brother would get a bunch of shit. My sisters would get a bunch of shit, but I'm just getting nothing. You know, and so I like giving because I was never given anything as a child. You know, so I like to give to people. I like people around me to feel happy and, you know, positive in my presence because it's
what pushes you. It's
exactly.
what motivates you.
Exactly.
And I know something that you said that not many else people said to me that really stuck with me because I believe it in myself truly is like we're on Earth and you know we all do have a time that we won't be here, but we can always be remembered, and that's a way to stay present here for the next generations or the people that are coming next.
Exactly.
And that's cool. And what like if you can leave a mark on Earth and be remembered, what would your dream of that being?
for being the one that helps everybody, that helps the ones that need the help the most. That's what I want to be remembered. I want to be remembered for the person that you can go to when you're having your rough times. I want to be remembered for the ones that help build you up, you know, instead of tear you down. I don't want to be remembered for the things I have, for the things I don't have. I just want to be remembered for who I was as a person.
You're writing your own book, man, and,
Exactly.
and right now you're very very far, man. You got your dream car already, and now the only thing you're in motion to do now is just like you said, you're here to be remembered, to be known for taking care of people and giving to people that deserve it, people that didn't have much when they were kids, and that's very inspirational, man.
Yeah. Also. Pulling into more streaming, so I'm gonna be doing more streams. So if you guys want to check it out, you know, definitely.
Okay. What's your streamer tag?
Dopestick_TTV. So that's gonna be my stream.
Okay.
20 more minutes.
Dopestick_TTV. Did y'all hear that?
Wait, 20 more minutes for what? Oh.
Batteries on max. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, I mean, to be honest, I'm gonna use the mics till they die.
Right.
I'm gonna at least finish this window over here. And we're gonna keep going, man. I don't want to cut you off because you got such a good story behind you, and like I said, I know it's gonna motivate a lot of younger kids, and I know there's a lot of people who have been through what you've been through. Maybe asking themselves, am I going to be able to do this? Am I even going to be able to recover from this? That probably looked down to themselves and thought what I think when I told you, hey, if I didn't know you and I just looked at your injury, it would have been hard for me to keep that faith. You know what I mean? So now them watching you, man, you're going to be pushing a lot of people.
I'm gonna throw a quote out here for everybody.
Okay.
You're only as strong as you allow yourself to be. And sometimes people allow themselves to be weak. You know, and I don't mean that in a bad way because it's okay to be weak, you know. But in times of need, you gotta be strong. You gotta grow up. You gotta understand the world is against you. The world is gonna be against you. But are you for yourself? You gotta continue with doing what you want to do in life. You know, you can't let all the other people dictate your life for you. You have to take control of yourself. You know, and that goes to anybody out there, no matter what situation you're going through. You know, you feel like your mom or dad hates you. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. You know, but as long as you can love yourself and continue with the life that you have and the life that you want, you know, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. You can live without your parents. You can live without your uncles, your aunts, your grandfather. You can't live without yourself.
Goes back to saying you can't also take care of anybody else if you can't take care of yourself.
Exactly.
And yeah, that's that's a very good one, bro. I was gonna ask you as well. What is your meaning behind Dope Stick Racing? Like, is there a story? Is there a specific meaning for that name?
Obviously, I'll always love racing. You know, racing is fun, and I do want to start doing racing, like actual racing. But Dope Stick came to me when I was actually out here in the Central Valley. You know, I would hear a lot of my friends be like, "Hey, you guys want to go smoke a dope stick?" You know, I asked them like, "What?"
You said go smoke a dope stick?
Yeah, and I'm like, "What's that?" And they're like, "It's a blunt. It means blunt."
Yeah, yeah.
And so I was like, "Okay," and so I used that as my gamer tag and everything, and it's just I like it
Had that since you were a kid?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it. Well, my first gamer tag was Fix Rider 408. That was fun, you know, because I used to ride Fixie a lot. But
I remember you saying something else that caught my ear too. You said it's because you're also blunt.
Yeah.
You're blunt. You don't hide yourself, and you don't cut corners. You just let people know what it is right away, which is also a good thing as well because you don't want later on for somebody to start learning about you and then finding out, oh wait, they like the person that I was pretending to be, and now you're wondering why a little bit later on when they're figuring out who you are, you're not getting along as well. Okay, that's always a good thing too, man. Always. So, the stream wise, what are you looking to do when it comes to streaming? What do you I know you want to you want to make it to where you could create a platform, right?
Yeah. So my end goal in life is I want to create my own platform to where you could come in as a content creator and work a 9 to 5. an actual 9 to 5, you know, actually get paid hourly wages, because a lot of these streamers out here, they don't make money some months off their streams, you know, and it's up to their fans if they're going to make money that month or not, you know, and there could be people that don't make it because they're not generating the revenue they want to generate, you know, and I want to be able to have people come in, you know, or like log into the website, you track your hours on when you're streaming. You know, and obviously it's all going to be verified, you know, so it's not going to be like, oh, I'm going to go in, I'm going to type in I did 60 hours this week. And your channel has no hours. You know, so it's going to be all verified and stuff like that.
And I know you're doing it to where you want to help people get there faster.
Exactly.
Because, you know, everybody has, you know, especially people who have lives that they have to work to provide and stuff, they don't have time to really push themselves the way other people have time. So when you create a team like that, you can help somebody say that took 6 months or a year to do what they want to do. You can help them do it within a month, and all you guys are doing is giving energy to each other, bouncing energy off of each other, and that's very smart, bro.
Exactly.
That's gonna help a lot of people.
Yeah, so that's my end goal. Is I just want to have one platform where instead of it's view based, it's hour based, you know, and it's like working a real job, you know, because anybody could log into their stream and stream.
Yeah.
But there's no guarantee you're going to make money off of it. I've been streaming for the past 2 years and I haven't made a single cent off streams.
And I wish that like a lot more people knew about that, bro. Because if a lot more people knew like how easy it is to say 10 of you. Okay, so there's one of you, right? You have to get 500 followers to accomplish some type of goal, right? So you alone have to make $500. Get 500 followers. Say a group of 10 people said, all right, we're gonna feed off each other's followers, bounce followers back and forth. Instead of having to find 500 followers for yourself, 100, say 10 of you, 20, how do you say it? Brain fart. Let me get back to this. So basically what I'm saying is more people feeding off of each other helps it go faster, and it's not doing nothing and taking out of nobody. Everybody's just helping everybody. Instead of you finding 500 people by yourself, you're splitting that in between everybody else, and doing that type of networking, free networking, is actually what people pay for on the internet.
That's actually where I was going to go with that. Unfortunately, for a viewer, it will be paid. It will have to be a paid subscription, you know, but that it will go to funding the streamers.
But then you also said hourly too, so it's like they're really getting paid. So they're really not paying for it technically, because it's like you're giving them the money to give it back to you.
Yeah.
So you're finding a way to help people in need at the same time. Yeah, that's amazing, bro.
Yeah. So that's what I want to do with life. It'll get there. You
No,
know,
definitely
I have
will.
faith that it's gonna get there. You know. I
I know you worked on a lot of. At one point, you like doing a lot of VRs. You like these? I know you said you were on enough about it.
Planning on streaming VR soon. I just haven't found I wouldn't say the content, because content's there. I haven't found the creative ideas that would make me stand out a little bit more. You know, I haven't found those yet, and I'm still checking out every avenue on the streaming. So,
Which is good, man. I mean, to be honest with you guys, like I said, we spent 5 hours trying to get this together, and one of the persons that were in here working their butt off trying to help us, Dope Stick. I appreciate him for that. And but we always talked about it. You know, we got to start off somewhere, and we can't beat ourselves up. And especially when you got other people around the world beating you up, and you're trying to do things right, you can't beat yourself up. You got to be proud of what you're doing. You got to find the little needle in the haystack of good with all the bad. And we started off stressing. You know, I couldn't imagine the amount of things that we had to go through. Not to mention my best friend over here freaking going to Best Buy multiple times just to get this started. At one point today, I thought that this wasn't going to happen, that this wasn't going to go down. I have a lot of personal stuff going on too, which this is my first stream and I'm open. I'm not hiding nothing.
it might cut off a little bit soon because I'm looking at the battery life on the mics.
Got you. All right, so it's gonna be cutting off fast. But what I'm saying is that today wasn't gonna happen, but today did happen, and we didn't believe it. But have faith, and just keep going. And you guys are gonna be on a journey with us, and this is the beginning of the journey. And at this, there's gonna be no end because we're gonna be remembered. But this is the beginning, and you guys are starting with this, and I'm excited to see where the journey comes. And I'm excited to have Dope Stick here for the first podcast. It is amazing. He made my dream come true. I've loved GTR since I was a kid. Never got to sit in one, never got to let alone be around one, and now I have one sitting in my garage. And fun fact is, I just met Dope Stick. The reason how I met Dope Stick is I posted on the internet. I let everybody know I'm looking for a GTR. Not even 2 days later, Dope Stick was, hey, my GTR's on the way. And one thing I really, really love about certain people is when you talk to them about things and they really mean it, they're genuine. We talked about it, not even a couple days later, he didn't bring me the GTR. The GTR wasn't even here. They brought me the beautiful Infinity, and I got to do a dope picture, dope video on my Instagram as well, which is JS_Tints _209. You guys can go check that out. And then he told me, man, the second day, I got the GTR. Started losing my mind, super excited, super happy, and not even a week later, man pulls up with it. I know at one point, it felt surreal. It's not my car, but it felt surreal. I just want to thank everybody. I'm at a loss of words. Got a lot going on, a lot on my head, but this right here is the beginning of something special, and I'm excited. Also, I would love to introduce somebody else that is important over here. Jameson, get up. This right here is one of my best friends. This guy is the man who works behind the camera. This guy is the one who was with Dope Stick trying to get all this set up. The one that ran to Best Buy over and over again to make this happen. And luckily, we were lucky enough to have three brains going today and got it done. So thank you, Dope Stick. Thank you, my broski.